today's show, the good, the bad and the ugly, spectators and security, the man with an impressive history of unearthing young talent, and Daniel Talia banks on a future after football. Hi everyone and welcome to The Crow Show, brought to you by Optus. I'm Alana Smith. Now, Mark Bickley is taking a break this week, but he'll be back next Sunday. Now, security has certainly been a controversial issue this season. Firstly, the apparent lack of it, but then the overzealous policing of crowd behaviour. AFL boss Gillon McLachlan has defended the security measures in Melbourne, but what's been the experience of fans in Adelaide?
Reports of violence, excessive abuse directed at players and umpires have become all too frequent at football games across the country.
A Richmond cheer squad member was suspended for 3 matches for calling an umpire a green maggot. Carlton supporter was evicted after he called an umpire a bald-headed flog.
Faced with growing supporter backlash, the AFL responded.
I'm apologising to the people who are going along to the football to have a day out who feel that they haven't been able to do that.
Adelaide Oval has also seen isolated acts of violence in recent years, but generally fans feel safe.
People get a little bit overexcited, but I've never felt unsafe, but I've seen probably behaviour that wasn't appropriate in front of kids.
Authorities insist they haven't changed security arrangements this year and applaud fans for being proactive.
I think that's been the really pleasing thing, is the fact that spectators really self-police a lot these days. They're very active in using our 0400 Tell Us number, where they can actually lodge a complaint if there's a spectator who's behaving inappropriately.
Darren Chandler encourages supporters to be passionate, but
fans are beginning to become very abusive, swear consistently, throw racial remarks out there, homophobic remarks out there, then that's not acceptable.
Oh yeah, you hear disrespectful things, but that's part of going to the footy, isn't it?
So you obviously don't have a problem with that. You wouldn't.
No, it's all right. I mean, as long as it doesn't get too out of hand, the language isn't too bad when there's kids around.
I wouldn't tolerate it. I'd say settle down, mate. Just watch the language, especially if there's kids around.
For the more than 1 million football fans who go to the Oval each year, this supporter has the final word.
People should respect, you're in a public outing, and if you can't respect others, well then you shouldn't be there.
Well, as the Crows focus firmly on the next 6 games, there's one man at the club whose sights are set much further ahead. And the track record of recruiting manager Hamish Ogilvie shows he certainly has an eye for success. The Advertiser's Reece Homfray joins me. And Reece, you believe Hamish deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, most definitely, Alana. I mean, his track record with draft picks has proven success, but it's really been his Moneyball recruiting style that's probably caught people by surprise, and that's the ability to turn guys who are probably high risk, low cost into established stars of the team. Hugh Greenwood, obviously Hamish went and pursued him from a young age and got him from basketball. Alex Keith had a promising cricket career, decided to turn his back on that and go football full time. It's those little diamonds in the rough that's really setting Hamish apart.
It's obviously such a competitive landscape. How does Hamish do it?
He's very well connected, clearly does his homework. Of course, every recruiting team has a wide network of recruiters across the country who are watching, just about every game of football unfolding in every state. But clearly does his homework, keeps track record of people, and has an ability to think outside the square. So, for an example, before he signed Hugh Greenwood, he went to the US where he was playing college basketball, Division 1, and actually kicked the football with him. I mean, who's going to, not everyone's going to go to that effort. So I remember him telling me that he was kicking the ball back that hard that it was actually almost bruising his hands. And Hugh said, "Do you think I'm going to be able to make it?" And Hamish said, "Yeah, I think you're going to. You've got what it takes." So he goes the extra mile.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking ahead, what do you think some of the main priorities would be for Hamish and the Crows?
Yeah, interesting time for Adelaide Footy Club at the moment. Of course, looking at potentially having the number 1, 2 or 3 pick with the controversial pick swap with Carlton. It's looking quite favourably at the moment. Whether or not they try to bring in, say, the best kid in the country, and I think they probably need to target some speed in the midfield, or do they go to the trade table and try and bring a South Australian home? And then, of course, the big question is, what do they do about Brodie Grundy? Everyone's talking about the Collingwood ruckman, whether he wants to come back to South Australia. But right now, I honestly think that Riley O'Brien's probably done enough to stake a claim for the number 1 ruck spot at Adelaide, deserves a contract extension, and with the money they save, maybe Hamish can pocket himself a little pay rise along the way.
Sounds like a good deal. Thanks very much, Reece. Cambridge certainly plays the long game. Now, despite the rigours and the regime of elite football, players must inevitably look at their life after the game is over. On The Crow Show, we've seen them experience a variety of workplaces as they weigh up their options. Daniel Talia, for example, is keen to know what the financial sector has to offer. And as we discover in this segment, brought to us by Revolution Roofing, he's spending a good deal of time at Bendigo Bank.
I'm here at Adelaide Bendigo Bank today. I've been doing some work experience over the year, and lucky enough with the relationship of the Adelaide Football Club and obviously the bank that I can come in and meet some people, and I'm just learning about how the banking works, how business works, about how they lend and how they fund and how they work with clients. And it's an important skill to have as a footballer, being able to relate to people and work with people in business. That's the main thing in business, to be able to have relationships and be able to talk to clients and all the rest. So at a bank you get great experience doing that.
Talia, he's been so reliable for so long.
My body's feeling good. I've come off the knee of pre-season and you know, managing that as the year goes on, and I'm just hoping I can stay out there and play some really big roles for the team at the back end and keep leading the boys down back. I think we've really come on as a group. You know, we've unearthed Alex Keith. He's a gem, and you know, probably in all-Australian form as a key back. So he's slotted into that role nicely, and I think the other guys that are back there in defence that have been there for a long time, Rory Laird, Brody Smith, even Jake Kelly's become a really great player this year, and we've got a really settled back 6 or 7, so we just hope we can keep that form going and really stand up in the big games that are about to come. I think we've started to get rolling, but I think our best is ahead of us. You know, heading into finals, you want to be playing the right way, and that's winning the contest. We know in finals that's what it comes down to.
I think we can bank on Daniel spending several more years at least in the Crows backline. OK, when we return on The Crow Show, Don Pyke's next challenger holds the key to the state's sporting coffers. Well, the Crows have just 3 remaining home games against Essendon, St Kilda and Collingwood. You can see all 3 by purchasing a special bronze membership at crowsmembership.com.au, or alternatively, single tickets can be bought at ticketek.com.au. Now, as pressure builds over coming weeks, it's important that players and coaches find time to relax. For Don Pyke, that usually means golf. In our latest Optus Par 3 challenge at Glenelg, he's up against a heavy hitter, the man responsible for the government's sports policy and funding.
Hi once again, and welcome to the Glenelg Golf Club. Joining me today for the Optus One Hole Challenge is our Minister for Sport in the state, Corey Wingo. Welcome along.
Great to be here. Thanks, mate. Thanks for the invite.
Now, Corey, your golfing background firstly. Are you much of a golfer?
No, I'm not. I wish I was. I wish I had more time for golf, but work keeps me busy these days, so probably haven't hit a ball in anger in 3 or 4 years.
Okay. And you're an Adelaide man through and through, but I understand you support Sydney.
I do, yeah.
I
spent a bit of time in Sydney, and I was at a function one night, emceeing the function, and Bob Skilton was there, and he said, "I know you, you're a Swans man, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, Bob, I am." And I couldn't go back then once I told Bob Skilton I was a Swans man. Oh, it's gone left,
way left. It's all right, the wind's going to bring that into a reasonable spot, I reckon.
Oh, the 7-iron, I should have gone the forward. Oh, that looks a lot better than mine. That's a really nice shot. Sit down.
That's going to be all right. Playing wise, you play much footy?
Yeah, I've played a bit, and a little bit in Sydney as well when I moved over there for work. So, yeah, look, had a great time with footy, but I was playing around the time the Crows came about, and a lot of my mates went to that I played with went to the Crows. Mark Visca, Matty Liptak, Rod Jamison. They could all play, I couldn't, so the writing was on the wall. I had to get another job, another career, and it wasn't golf. Need a lot of left to right.
Nice work.
No,
hey, that's good. Good 4.
Very
there
nice.
we go.
It's a nice piece of work.
Thank you for joining me, Corey. Enjoyed having a hit with you. What's coming up for the government? What's next in line?
Plenty on the go. Yeah, just look out with the constituents. My electorate's just down the road there, so catching up with people. But the sports stuff's really exciting. We've got some great things happening there. We've got our state infrastructure plan that we're working on, and a game on. We want to really have a look and see what sport can look like in South Australia going into the future. So exciting times.
Some of you may remember that Corey once had his own TV sports show in Adelaide known as Simply Footy. Okay, since Brodie Smith made his debut in 2011, nearly 50 players have joined him at the Crows, so he's had a lot to learn about his teammates. With the help of Thomas Farms, let's test his recent memory regarding one of the latest recruits.
This week I'm joined by Lockie Shoal. Let's see how much I know about Shoaly.
Thanks for having me, Smithers.
Welcome,
How are you, mate?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm great, mate. Great to be on the show. All right, I'll start off short and simple. Where am I from?
Victoria, somewhere.
Could you give us a suburb, maybe?
Oh, I don't even know any of them.
No.
South Bank.
No idea. No.
Where are you from? Let us know.
Essendon, Victoria.
Essendon, okay.
What under-18s club did I play for?
Oh, let's go the Cannons.
Right on.
Yep. I mean, I knew that. Yeah.
I signed a contract extension recently.
Yeah.
How many years was that extension?
2.
Yep. Well played.
Yep.
What draft pick was I?
38. Oh no.
No, that's my number.
That's your number. 48.
I don't know. Higher. I was 64.
64.
Yep.
So I was thinking 60s, but I didn't want to say 60 in case you weren't. You're like, he doesn't rate me.
Don't be like that, mate.
So, draft picks don't matter. As soon as you walk through a door, everyone's the number one draft pick, mate.
Spot on, mate. Spot on. That's all I've got.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Spiz. Anytime.
Lockie certainly has football pedigree. His father played for Carlton and his cousins Craig and Bradshaw between them chalked up more than 400 AFL games. Stay with us. After the break, the Crows soar up the SANFL ladder. We'll hear from the man behind the revival. A big recruiting drive in the off-season has helped the Crows SANFL side take giant strides towards a finals berth. Good young development players now complement a healthy list of promising and experienced Crows. Coach Heath Uni is driving their success and first-year player Will Hamill is enjoying the ride.
Doing the constructor thing now, gives it to McAdam with a bounce, closing to within 30, very gettable goal. McAdam makes no mistake and Adelaide has kicked the first 2.
Yeah, obviously a really strong start to the year. The most impressive thing has been our development of our young guys coming through. You know, they've contributed strongly throughout the course of the year.
Short kick, good one. And they play on, they've done this well.
Yeah, it's been really good so far. There's a different level to what I've been playing. I mean, I've been playing under 18s for the past 2 years before this, and so it's obviously a different level coming up against men, but it's also a good challenge and a good experience, so I'm loving it so far. One of the things that we've worked heavily on is making sure that when they come back to the SANFL, out of the AFL, they've got clarity around what's expected of them. We've got some clear expectations that we give to the group, and that's allowed us to get some continuity in the way we play.
Otten just wheels around one side, then goes on his left foot and Stengel.
The obvious ones are Andy Otten, who his contribution not only on the field has been super strong, but his leadership down back is a significant reason why Jordan Butts and these guys are developing strongly. Pretty much a coach out there, tells you where to go, and if you got any questions, just ask him. And he's a very useful resource out in the field. They're all been different, our wins. I would have thought, firstly, the game against Nord, when they were sitting top of the ladder, 33 points down halfway through the second quarter, for our young guys and to be able to lead us through that victory, I think that was the time where our group believed they were capable of winning games of footy. So that was a significant game.
Since Since 1991, 225 players have worn the Crows Guernsey in the AFL. 4 have played 300 plus games for Adelaide, 12 more than 200. In this segment, brought to us by Flight Centre, a former Crow recalls his days with the club.
Look at the pod. Classic little elevator.
Towards the end of my career, I sort of found my time at Geelong, when I was there, I couldn't believe the amount of knowledge transference that went on from the senior players to the younger players. And I sort of found myself doing that when I got to the Crows, being an elder statesman. Having the opportunity to coach the defenders for 2 years and seeing the guys grow into the players they are was fantastic for me. I mean, as a footballer, you're always basically focused on what you need to do to get better. But when I was playing football, when I was coaching, that sort of entrepreneurial itch was sort of always there for me. I wondered whether I was ever going to scratch it. My goal is actually to get people connected and people active. So this is not just a venue for kids, it's actually for parents, families and the community.
A more recent Crow is Paul Seedsman. Shortly, he talks about his early days as a Hawk before he became a Magpie and then a Crow. All going well, Paul Seedsman will play his 100th AFL game before the end of the season. His family has a long association with Collingwood, so it's perhaps unsurprising that his elite career started with the Magpies. Thanks to Toyota Good for Footy, Paul recalls that Collingwood connection and his early days with the Rowville Hawks in suburban Melbourne.
My great-grandfather Jim Sharp played football for Fitzroy and then Collingwood, and from all reports he was a pretty handy footballer. I think he was under 6 foot, but he played full-back or centre-half back and became president of Collingwood throughout the 1920s and 30s. I think one of the players missed the train down to Geelong, and back then I don't think they ran as often as they do now. Vic Metro wasn't quite up and about, and he missed the train and they were one short, so as president Jim had to throw the boots on, and in the first quarter broke his leg, so it was a quick in and out.
Outside of the boot, clever ball to Seedsman. He's got this trip, Seedsman. Thumping drop punt, and it is there!
Originally I started out at St Simons and then made the move over to Rowville Hawks. Played a bit of football there with some schoolmates, and then played a large majority of my teenage years for Caulfield Grammar. At Caulfield Grammar I was able to play with some decent footballers. Dylan Shiel, probably been the best one, who's now at Essendon. Played against some decent footballers as well, including Alex Keith, who's now here, and played cricket against him as well that same year, and he cheated against us. It was our third ball, didn't walk, and went on to make 100.
Well, the 2019 Toyota Good for Footy raffle aims to raise $1 million for grassroots clubs across Australia. Do your part to support local footy and buy a ticket. Go to toyota.com.au/AFL raffle and help raise some serious cash for local clubs. Toyota also helps find our Crow in the crowd each week. When our camera was out and about at Adelaide Oval, it spotted you. If you recognise yourself, contact the club by 5 p.m. next Wednesday. Have some photo ID handy, and a merchandise pack from Toyota will be yours. Well, that's about all we have time for in today's show, brought to you by Optus. Next week, it's the turn of Alex Keith to score 1 or 2 points against Brodie Smith. Now, remember to keep an eye on @The Show on Twitter for all the latest news, and also check out the club's social media accounts, Facebook and Instagram. A reminder too that the next episode of Footy Plus, hosted by Belinda Sloan, can be seen immediately after the Essendon game next Friday night. Thanks for your company today. Mark Bickley will be back with me next Sunday, so I look forward to you joining us then at 11:30 on 7. It's bye for now.